The world of Transformer toys. Why not? Why not? I don't really know anything about Transformer toys that much. I know I've seen some at like garage sale and stuff like that. But the channel, Diamondbolt.
Quarantine certainly did a number on a lot of people, myself included, because it apparently decided to suddenly reignite my passion for buying Transformers toys, which let me tell you has been an absolute wonder on my wallet. I definitely picked a good time for it.
Now the question is, Transformers or Gundams?
Too, because Transformers has been absolutely crushing it with the new War for Cybertron trilogy, which has got to be some of Hasbro's best work.
I mean, actually, it's pretty different, no? Like, does Transformer have like a Gunpla type stuff where you'd have to build it and paint it yourself, or is Transformers like always already pre-made?
That makes this video
Why not,
sound
boys?
like a paid endorsement. You gotta trust me here.
Deadliest motorsport crash to this day.
I would not be allowed to complain as much as I'm about to.
That's in the video about it,
yeah. For me when I decided to rewatch the Bumblebee movie one day, and I thought it would be a great idea to buy the Blitzwing and Bumblebee Studio Series figures so I could recreate their fight
They have
scenes
model
in
kits.
the movie.
Spin-off and niche.
Just spiraled out of control from there. And it certainly didn't help that I also watched the War for Cybertron shows, which, while not very good, I definitely remember all I could think about while watching was, man, it'd be cool to have toys of these guys. I don't know what kind of subliminal messaging
That's some very sick robot.
Here, but it is working. What the fuck? When did I buy this? I used to collect TF toys a lot when I was younger, mostly through birthday presents because of the pretty ridiculous prizes at the time. If only I knew. And I suppose I picked a good time to not out of it since it was during Combiner Wars where everything was just the same thing. Again. It was a good 5 or so years of having money. So just to give you a rundown on the current trilogy, which all share the same aesthetics and engineering, it all started in 2018 with the Siege line, which focused on the Cybertronian modes of select Autobots and Decepticons, which was then succeeded 2 years later by Earthrise, which as you can imagine focused instead on their Earth modes, which look a bit more familiar to what we're used to. And then finally concluded this year with Kingdom, which focused on their Earth modes again, and Monkey. Getting back into it,
some of them look really good, some of them look kind of bad to me.
Means. I've also learned that every Transformers line has their own size class, which Hasbro seems to make up all over again with each new series. Right now, though, we've got Micro and Battle Masters, which solely exist just to decorate store shelves, Core class, which if it's not obvious, I don't own, Deluxe class, Voyager class, Leader class, and Commander class.
Wow.
And Titan class. It's why I'm eternally grateful that the Masters
is there life-size class?
Absolutely nothing for me because Jesus fucking Christ. It all
King Kong
like a pretty straightforward size pattern.
Is my favorite Transformers. I don't know what you mean.
Hasbro doesn't agree because then you've got because then you've got examples like Deluxe Class Earthrise Cliffjumper, who is literally half the size of his wave mates,
He's a
but
tiny boy,
as hell costs the same.
It's not the size that matters, it's how you use it.
Series 86 Voyager Class Hot Rod, who is the same size as all of the other Deluxes, but all because they chucked a couple of accessories in there.
I'm just realizing, I guess I never understood Transformers figurines. Like, looking at all of them, in my head I always thought like Transformer figurines were, like, they were always made with the idea that you can transform them into cars, right? But a lot of them here, like, they look static. They don't look like you can actually bend them into a car shape. I thought that was the whole point, though. But I guess I misunderstood. 17-foot tall Bumblebee would be hell.
Now $45. What the fuck? This is all because of their new focus on cartoon accurate
Not
scaling,
all cars, but just dual transformer.
For the most part, I have very much appreciated.
Or planes too and stuff like that.
It essentially means these size classes don't actually mean anything besides the price point. Wonderful. And to anyone who wants Studio Series Devastator, I'm sorry.
Repaints.
One of the earliest things you have to accept when it comes to Transformers toys is that basically half of them are just the same thing again.
Some of them turn into animals, or animals too. Higher vehicles, and some turn into full city. Okay. That's right, you did show me something weird in some image once. I remember that.
Oh my god, it's so fucking cool. Whoever came up with the idea of repainted toys being separate characters is either a complete genius or just incorrigibly evil.
Okay, so he's a clone
genius
of Soundwave
marketing
created by Shockwave, who is now
oh my god, yeah?
pirate captain fighting for 9.
Oh, that's so cool. It's not exactly like this is a new thing. The literal second Transformers hit the store shelves, the bigwigs up at Hasbro realized they could just release the same thing again but red, and we'd all buy it without a second thought. But if you really want to reach that level of just a complete failure of a human being, then don't worry, they also release repaints of the exact same characters. This new trilogy has done something I've really appreciated though, by separating the repaints away from the main line with the Netflix series, which is what they've done to avoid polluting the main waves with slight variations of existing figures. The people who hated the battle damage in Siege must have loved this shit. So if you weren't satisfied with your regular Siege prow, you can now get him covered in literal shit. Now, I'm not too knowledgeable about how they've done it in previous lines, but I definitely can tell you about some of the bullshit they put put with this new
That's a funny
trilogy.
looking
The
one.
Transformers collecting experience is basically going, hey, that Siege Sideswipe is pretty cool, but don't you also want Sideswipe but needing a shower? Or Sideswipe in black and red? Or Sideswipe but a police car? Or Sideswipe but a police car but a different character? Or Sideswipe but a police car but a different character?
I mean, again, like, the point is very obvious. Like, I guess it's not for most people. It's really for, like, the collectors who, you know, probably can't help themselves. Like, they want every color, every version, right? And, you know, it's not just Transformers, but, like, so many things like that collectible. Like, it has been shown. All you need to do is, like, a different color. And the collectors with money will be like, yeah, I need every version. So, like, it's always been like that. It's one of those things, right?
Character with shit on him, or Sideswipe but yellow, or Sideswipe but blue, or Sideswipe but in a 2-pack. So
A knockoff Transformers. Toy in that the CD played 3 episodes of the OG 70s Transformer. Milking the customer through FOMO. Early buy figures and I have 2 of the same jet figure because they're different characters.
Buy 2 figures just to get the one you actually fucking want. I'm so tired, man. I just want to enjoy the figures I own. Could you please stop making better versions of it? My collection is reduced to a revolving door at this point where no one is ever safe. I literally got tracks here like only a couple months ago, and never mind, out he goes. And yes, I know you can have 2 of the same character, but not all of us are toy reviewers, okay? You stay the fuck away from me. So in Transformers toy collecting, you've got redecos, retools, and repaints, all of which are just fancy ways of saying that Hasbro's ripping you off. A redeco is a toy that shares the same mold as another figure, but has an entirely new paint job applied to it, which you'll see on copy-paste characters like the Seekers and Rumble and Frenzy. Yes, that's the correct way, fuck you. A repaint, on the other hand, is a figure that uses the exact same paint, but just in different places. Whereas
Oh my
a
God.
retool is when a toy is just an altered Combiner Wars Silverbolt. And yes, they're different enough for me to want them, Mom. An unfortunate amount of my time is spent carefully looking at promo shots of updated figures to work out whether I'm comfortable with having the objectively inferior version. Yeah, man, it's totally just as good. Because now
again,
you've got all
like-
these different
Like, obviously, on one side of the map, you've got, you know, this is clearly made to make a ton of money of the people who can't help themselves. Like, they're collectors, so they want every version. But on the other side, if you're like, you know, your brain isn't broken, and you're just collecting them, but you don't need every version, I guess it just gives you a lot of choice of, like, the different look of them. So in a way, that's not a bad thing. Like, if you're a more normal collector, yeah, you just get a lot of option. You can find the one you think is the coolest. I guess that's a good thing.
versions of the exact same figure and character, but with just the slightest of changes made to them, which to me is just so unnecessarily confusing and annoying. It's a never-ending cycle, because as soon as I finally track down all the guys from one wave that I want, they just announce another one with the exact same characters that's gonna make me do the whole thing all over again, and it's slowly dawning on me that I'm never going to be able to catch up. Please help me, it never ends. Look, I don't want to
7 Bumblebees, just from 2007.
I definitely can't stop myself. Here's an example of the ridiculously stupid shit I have to do just to get a single figure that I want. This is Siege Mirage. He's cool. Well, just a couple weeks ago, as of this video, Hasbro announced that they're doing a
55.
Kingdom 2-pack that contains a new Earth Mode Mirage that looks significantly better than the one I just got at the very reasonable price of $70 on Amazon, which means that if I want him, I'm going to have to buy the entire 2-pack, then sell my Siege Mirage and the Grimlock to cover my costs just to get the one figure. If
Wow.
your hobby doesn't make you question your
Wow.
existence, then are you even doing it right? And while I'm on the topic of complaining about meaningless crap that no one cares about,
Bah, les collect things.
Hasbro loves exclusives almost as much as they love money. These things have never been as bad as they were during the 2020 portion of the War for Cybertron trilogy, Earthrise. Hasbro likes to go a bit nuts when it comes to making deals with stores to only allow them to sell a particular figure, though in doing
Of
this
course.
they kind of tend to forget that the rest of the world outside of America doesn't have Walmart, so you'd think that they'd release these figures normally everywhere else, right? No? What the fuck is a Walgreens? I don't know what on earth is going on in the US.
Yeah,
where
but
not
it's
only
in-
is a pharmacy selling toys for some reason, but also apparently does so often enough to warrant them having exclusive ones. But alright, you would assume that exclusives would be reserved for more obscure characters that most people wouldn't get.
Hello, Yandere Angel. Bumblebee and Cliff Jumpers are basically the same character, but different personalities, so usually Cliff Jumper always killed in shows and movies very early on.
Upset about. But no, let's make fucking Ratchet a store exclusive. Twice. One day we'll be together, my love. And it's been getting especially
439.
frustrating when entire teams are impossible to collect because certain members have been made exclusives. Like the Battle Chargers, for example. Runamuck here was available normally in Wave 3 of Earthrise, whereas Runabout is
But again, like this is more of like it sounds anti-consumer or something, right? But at the same time, it is for money, is how you would put it. Like, yeah, it's just like all the different color version for the collectors and then the exclusive, same thing. You know, like it seems bullshit, but you know, they make so much money of it. It just works. It just works, I'm sure.
Exclusive to the US and just straight up isn't being sold outside of it, unless of course I'm willing to take out a loan from the bank, even though they're just direct repaints of each other. An even more frustrating example is the Seekers, a group of 6 Decepticon jets, of which half have been major characters in the Transformers series, where only Starscream has been normally available at retail, with the other 5 all being exclusives, which I'm pretty sure is a war crime. I cannot even begin to describe to you the absolute agony that is trying to find a Siege Skywarp, because they also did this back in Siege, where instead of letting you just buy the
it's
fucking
actually
Seeker
fun to
trio
build them.
normally, Hasbro instead banished Skywarp to a multi-pack that was only available on Amazon, and is now, as you can imagine, a little bit more...
Unfortunately, like, yeah, most collectibles, things like that, most of the company probably do it like this. I mean, yeah, like the exclusive, the different version, that's just how it works, right?
Hard to find. When everyone has to pretend that another guy is the guy they actually want, then you've done something wrong. Not to mention, Hasbro's monitoring of quality control was absolutely through the roof with Earthrise. I don't think even a single person had a problem with their figures. But you know, there was that whole COVID thing. Alright, you're gonna pass this time, guys. At the very least, it's hopefully all over now that...
Kingdom Red alert, confirmed, exclusive.
You're gonna pass this time, guys. At the very least, it's hopefully all over now that...
World Green exclusive, huh? Again.
I love how much Hasbro hates us. It's almost kind of painfully hilarious that right in the middle of what seems to be Hasbro's A game, the whole world had to be hit with the discovery that people don't wash their hands, which has caused a lot of the problems people have had with the latest lines.
You just spend thousands,
Some
yeah.
people have theorized that Earthrise was cut short because of the pandemic, seeing as it only had 3 waves as opposed to the usual 4, which has resulted in some oddities in the current lines. Like, for example, Hasbro's ever-present quest to only make Generation 1 figures until the end of time.
Keep getting away with this.
You can't keep getting away with it! I love G1 though, so I'm not complaining. Kingdom set out to give us a break from the abundance of G1 by giving us a line of updated beloved Beast Wars characters, as well as an equally dominant amount of G1. God damn it. Look, all I'm saying is I didn't expect to see a truck and a tank guy in a line called Kingdom. Which does have to make you wonder if Huffer, Warpath, and Inferno were supposed to be a part of Earthrise, since they fit right in with those guys. Then you've got the brand new Studio Series 86 line, which I'm absolutely adoring, bringing us fantastic non-gimmicky figures of the main cast of Transformers the movie. All except for Cyclonus, who was a part of Kingdom, despite perfectly fitting in with the rest of 86. What? One of the biggest wins to come out of this trilogy is Hasbro's newfound dedication to brand unification, meaning their counterpart over in Japan is no longer allowed to make better versions of the same figures that are impossible to get anymore. For whatever reasons, the guys responsible for making Transformers toys over in Japan, Takara Tomy, quite commonly make their own versions of new figures that are exclusive only to Japan.
Of course.
Which is as dumb and unnecessary as it sounds, yeah. I must admit it was getting unbelievably tiring buying a new figure and being very happy with it, only to look it up and then gaze upon this significantly better version of it that you will never be able to own, unless you have a house to mortgage. But don't worry, they released brand new ones just this year that are exclusive to Target in the US. Oh yeah, that classics Jetfire, you like that?
No surprise, huh?
Takara made it more cartoon accurate.
At the same time, like, I get why this is annoying, but as he's saying himself, he doesn't have a ton of money, so yeah, like, in the end, there's nothing you can do no matter what. Like, even if, like, all of this wasn't happening, you could buy, you know, all the Transformers from, like, one shop or something. You still wouldn't have the money to buy all of them anyway, so it doesn't really change that much. Like, he's in the same situation no matter what, even if, like, things weren't made so unfriendly toward buying the one you want, I guess.
Version of it, and it costs you $200. Suffer. This isn't a joke, by the way. Nearly every mainline Transformers series has had Takara outdoing Hasbro in every aspect, making it feel really insulting when it's like, no, you can't have this one, but you can have this worse version, you dumb American. Occasionally, there are only minor changes that I suppose you could overlook, but other times it's, oh, come on, what the fuck? The entirety of the Unite Warriors line was basically dedicated to doing Combiner Wars, but better in every single way, from having cartoon-accurate paint jobs and faithful combiner teams to straight up adding articulation and posability, all while in the process making Hasbro look like a shitty knockoff company. But it's okay, guys, you can tell Hasbro really cares about the quality of their products. I've never understood why.
What was that?
But it's okay, guys, you can tell Hasbro really cares about the quality of their...
What doesn't... What? That the third-party toys are better than Hasbro and Takara Koyomi. Makes sense, I mean... Third-party stuff probably care, I guess.
Products. I've
They're
never
like fun
understood
stuff.
why this is the case, especially when quite often the changes are so minimal. I'm sure there's an understandable reason that someone in the comments can tell me about, but until then, I guess I'll just be grateful that they don't really do it anymore. Sometimes. Takara, I swear to God, I will fly over there. And that's why sometimes the only way to get these things is on the... I am directly below!
Of course. Of
Never
course.
in my life did I think Facebook would ever be good for anything outside of spreading misinformation. But as of late, I've realized that did I think Facebook would ever be good for anything outside of...
What does it say though? Discover 7 good reasons not to hold back your farts. I mean, sounds like good information, yeah. Just let it rip, dude. Let it rip. A lot of cases where people would think figure was shit because the guy doing promo shots would just not transform them properly.
But as of late, I've realized that out of all the options to buy pre-owned toys, none have brought me as much suffering as Marketplace, which truly is a fascinating website. What the fuck? What the fuck? Only several hours of my day is spent browsing this barren wasteland filled with absurdly marked up prices or broken, incomprehensible remains of what I think once used to be a toy, all of which are always just chucked on the floor.
Yeah.
They're always on the fucking floor.
Yeah.
Aside from that, though, it is where a brunt of the newfound dents in my bank account have come from. Buying pre-owned can be like Russian roulette, but instead of getting the sweet release of death, you
That's what I used to do. See, you guys know I used to have like build a massive manga and like Blu-ray of anime collection. That's what I would do. Like I had alerts and everything on the French version of eBay, I guess, called Le Bon Coin. And I would like look every single day, like any post. And obviously, like the goal was always to try to find a post of someone who like it's maybe like someone's mom or something, like selling, you know, like a big collection of manga or something for like super cheap, because most people sell like crazy price, right? So yeah, it would be like just every day trying to check, and always like waiting for like something that seemed like a really good deal, right? Because yeah, like browsing this kind of site is always such a pain. Like most people have crazy price or, you know, some bullshit like that. So yeah, I got a figure the other day, and all of their limbs yellowed. It was a pain trying to paint all of it.
Instead, just might get the power of the Prime's Dinobots covered in hair. Yes, that actually happened, and I'm still not over it. God, I hope it was head hair. Hey, it's like an 80% success rate. I'll take that. Through these Facebook groups, I've also come to realize that the average age for a Transformers collector is a lot more old person.
Well,
I'm not at all
makes sense.
suggesting there's anything wrong with being into this sort of thing.
Nothing
at an
surprising,
older
yeah.
age, in spite of what Twitter might think, you are in fact allowed to have a little bit of joy in your life, but rather instead that I found some people who are into it perhaps a bit too much. Like this American toy group my friend showed me. I won't let my wife buy me Transformers toys, she'll just get it wrong. When you play with
He has a point.
Transformers and your girlfriend can't see your enjoyment because she's watching TikTok, mine does the same. My wife would say nothing and make me a sandwich because, oh.
Wow.
But of course, you can't talk about an aftermarket for Transformers toys without bringing up eBay.
Must be just like a bit of like on Christmas, my brother and my mom got me a poster of Berserk because they knew I was a fan of Berserk, but it was a poster of Berserk 2016. You know, it's kind of like that, right? It's kind of like that. Like the point is more that, yeah, like if it's something very specific, they probably don't know, right? Yeah. G1 nostalgia runs in their blood.
What the fuck
Hello,
is
Francis.
going on with this site? I bought a couple things off of eBay that have actually been pretty good deals, but
Hello.
for the most part, people on the site just go absolutely insane with their pricing, and it really makes me wonder if people could actually afford this stuff to warrant them to keep doing it.
I mean, obviously, like this is probably like super rare stuff,
Anyway,
so
fuck eBay, that's where I was going with
very
this.
few
In
will buy that,
Australia, at least, though, that's pretty much the best options we have to turn
5,000.
to. Unless you want to resort to Gumtree. You know, not like any proper online retailers are willing to give us a hand. Hasbro Pulse, where fans come first. Unless you don't live in the US or UK, in which case, go fuck yourself. It gets even more fun for non-official products. Wow, this third-party figure looks cool. Okay, never mind. I suppose it could be
Damn.
worse. It could be a Star Wars collector.
someone just selling a Miss Alex
As
is
someone
sorry
who's
for 20
probably
bucks.
the only person on Earth not to transform their Transformers entirely because I am too scared to break them, it's always really comforting to know that for every figure I can't work out how to transform, there's a review out there explaining to me how to do it. The toy review scene on YouTube is really what's been helping keep this whole thing fun for me. Seeing other people sharing my excitement for new releases and grievances with the prices, and sometimes even convincing me to add even more things onto my wish list because God knows it isn't large enough already, you bastards. For real, I can stop whenever I want. I mean, Sound Blaster? That's just a black and red sound wave. Why the hell would I want that?
Huh.
This video is a
He lost.
crap. Please
He
stop
lost
buying
again.
them. Can't stop buying them. Please save my bank account.
In the end, it's really the cycle, you know? Like, people will watch this YouTuber, they will donate, they will watch the ads, then this YouTuber will spend all his money on Transformers, and then who wins? Hasbro, I guess. Hasbro keeps making more money, so I guess they won't change the they won't change the the way they're doing things. The eternal loop of every company. It is what it is. It is what it is. Can't escape it. Can't escape it. I mean, a lot of what he talks about feels like, you know, it's not just Transformers, but probably, yeah, like a lot of like collectible franchise and collectible things. It always go like that, right? They've been nice lately. Transformer reviewer I like to watch is Joby de Hong. So, interesting video. Okay, here's the link.